Hey guys, this is a very spur of the moment video. I just got done with the WWW this week and I played my Evil Shigaraki list that I did a deck profile on in a video this weekend. Now that was a very in the works, and so since then I've played at my Provisional Store Championship with this list, and then I went 2-1-1. I got 5th place out of 12. I didn't quite make the top 4. Is what it is, but I made a lot of adjustments because remember in that video I said this evil list does not feel like it, and I'm kind of embarrassed actually by the list that I had up there because I've made quite a few changes and I really like my current list a lot better. But you know, I'm going to leave the video up because it's good to see decks evolve over time. So how have we evolved this list since then? And then I'll jump into this hilarious story and I'll just do a little report. I did go 3-0 tonight. And I went 6-0 actually between the 3 rounds. I went 6-0. Very, very good night for me. But yeah, let's jump into the changes that I made since the last video. This will just take 2 seconds. The main change I made was adding Amphibious Ambush and taking Surging Crystal Darts up to a 4 since it's arranged. So now I have Darts that's arranged, Trigger that's arranged, and Tongue Whip that's arranged. That's 10 out of 20 cards. Feels good enough to add in Ambush. I'll tell you, I watched Phil Birch's round 1 game when he was playing Evil Tengai against Void Eraserhead at the RLE, and he was using Amphibious Ambush and Prominence Burn. It got the gears in my head rolling, and I thought, I think Amphibious Ambush is what I'm missing. Normally, I hate this card, so I just skip over it when I'm looking through cards. But adding this to this list has made all the difference. It's felt so strong. I took it to a 2, and then after some more testing, I took it to a 3. It just feels really, really nice because when I add the momentum, it turns on Sudden Death Assault quite a bit. It lets me ready... Let's see here. It lets me ready Master's Pride, and the momentum can then be used to ready Refreshing Slice if I like. So sometimes I'm readying 2 foundations off of playing the Amphibious Ambush, and I'm further stuffing their card pool, so it plays along really well with Tongue Whip. If I go Tongue Whip, Ambush, Tongue Whip, they're pretty much dead most of the time. And then Crystal Darts is there because when I'm living till turn 4 or 5, this just becomes a 10 damage move. So I took it to a 4. Yeah, the only other change, took Refreshing Slice to a 2, and then I added in the Master's Pride. That's really the only changes that I made since the last list. But I took Sudden Death Assault down to a 2 and Needle Stab down to a 1. Sometimes I love Needle Stab, sometimes I hate it. Most of the time I hate it. Might just take it out sometime. Okay, let's jump into the hilarious story. So round 1, I play an All Might 3, and I win game 1. I can't remember anything about game 1, but I win game 1. Game 2, I'm going second, and on turn 1, I get a Masterminding into my momentum. And then on All Might 3's turn 2, he gets me down to 3 health. So I'm like on life support already before I've even started the game. So on my turn 2, I use Masterminding because it can't be discarded to pay costs, but it can be removed. Plays really well with Shigaraki, so I remove Masterminding to give all the checks -1. So that way I can get some damage in, and then hopefully live, and then maybe win on my next turn. So I do get some damage in, and I get a few momentum, and then I think I get another Masterminding too. I think when I pass the turn, I have a Masterminding and 2 momentum. I take them from 30 health to 20 health, and then I pass. Okay, I'm getting stuck in the weeds. Let me just get to the funny part. Okay, so I get to the. Okay, so it's All Might 3's turn, and I'm at 3 health. Oh, I actually cut 2 health with Brute Strength. I'm at 1 health. Starts out with the Back Alley Haymaker. I use Twisty Surroundings and Shigaraki 3 to give -3 to the check. He chooses to fail it because now it's really -4 to the check. Then he plays a Hardened Jab, and the only mid block I have in hand is a 3 mid block. But I say, Shigaraki, check a 5 for me. He fails the check, and so I pick up a card, and I pick up Chronostasis Trigger, a 2 mid block with Breaker 2. Absolutely perfect. So I block the Hardened Jab with the Chronostasis Trigger. I have to commit 1 foundation. At this point, I only have 2 ready foundations. I say Breaker 2. So All Might 3 plays a foundation and then plays an attack, and he plays Heroic Strike, which means he's going to stun my last 2 foundations. I don't have Looking for a Challenge out on the board, so my Stun Hate is not out there. So he stuns my 2 foundations, and I have a card in the card pool, and Heroic Strike is 4 speed. So if I'm blocking, I'm going to be blocking on 5, and then if I block on a, with a block modifier of 2, I'm blocking on a 7. All I have is my character ready, so I'm going to fail it. So, and I don't have a single one block in hand. So I am dead. This is it. It's over. But my thinking is maybe if I use Shigaraki 3, I draw a Barrier Shield. So I figure before I scoop, I'll just use Shigaraki 3. And I say, check a 5 for me. And he thinks about passing it, but chooses to fail it. And I draw a Barrier Shield. I kid you not, I draw the Barrier Shield. Okay. So the first time I drew the Chronostasis trigger, and now I'm drawing the Barrier Shield. I'm just drawing everything I need off of this Shigaraki enhances. But I'm still in a pickle, right? Because I need All Might 3 to add the speed before they add... I need them to add the speed on before I use Barrier Shield, because I still only have block modifiers of 2, and I'm still going to be blocking on a 7, and I can't pass that. Because if I have 4 cards in hand, by the way. So if I Barrier Shield, and then he gives it the speed, then I still can't pass. I still can't pass the check. Maybe I could, because I Barrier Shield, I'd go down to 3 cards in hand, and then maybe I had 5 cards in hand. I can't quite remember if it was 4 or 5. But all I know is I'm dead unless All Might 3 gives it the speed. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and stall for as long as possible and give him the chances. Because the All Might 3 player was a very good player, and he knew what I was up to, so he said pass. I said, I'll use Mastermind and give -1 to your next check. You're enhanced, pass. And then I looked at my stage and I realized, oh, I have Twisty surroundings. So I said, I'll discard a momentum with Twisty, since it's playable while committed, and I'll make it a low attack. And I tried to sound as confident as I could, like I had a 1 low block, you know? Like, yeah, I'll make it a low attack. And then the All Might 3 said, oh my gosh, let me think about this. What am I going to do? And he thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And then he said, okay, yeah, you can, I guess I have to do it. I'll give it the speed with All Might 3. And then I said, okay, Barrier Shield, take it to 0. And then I blocked, gave it Breaker 2, and then I won on my next turn. I think on the next turn I got like 3 Surging Crystal Darts and like 2 Amphibious Ambush. So I was going like darts, ambush, put it in my momentum, darts, ambush, you know, something like that. I did the 20 damage. And that was that. So basically, but if my rival had not added the speed, they had the game won. So I just thought that was a very funny story that I got just incredibly lucky. I drew the trigger, I drew the Barrier Shield, and then my rival got tricked into adding the speed first. So just it's one of those games where you end the game and you just think, wow, this game is so fun. That's why I'll just always be addicted to this game. It's just things like that. Sometimes it's just cards. Sometimes you get the royal flush and things just go your way. Okay, so I go 2-0 against All Might 3. Next game I play a Mirio, but it's the like a starter deck version of Mirio. So I went 2-0. I don't think I ever got hit by a Mirio attack once, but it was the starter deck version of Mirio. So I mean that like they played really well, and it's just what can you do? You have difference in power levels. So round 3 I played Bakugo 1, and I won game 1, and then on game 2 he was playing a 1 check, the double front beatdown. On game 2 he checked the 1 when he was building his foundations. And then the next turn, he said, I got to do it. And he said, I'll play a double front beatdown to try and build. And then he checked a 1 when he tried to play it. And so 2 1 checks in a row that just kind of killed his turn, gave me like 2 extra turns. It really wasn't fair, and I won that game. So I went 6-0 tonight. Last game definitely didn't feel fair. The Bakugo just checked the 1s. It was just what it was. And then I got incredibly lucky round 1. So do I think this Evil Shigaraki 3 list is super powerful? No, I don't. I probably would not take it to a regional license exam or higher level event. But is it strong enough to potentially win locals and have a ton of fun while doing it? Yes, because there is nothing more fun than check hacking. At least in my opinion, hacking checks is just strong defensive abilities to me are the most fun to play. Like Shoto Todoroki 1, getting to cancel and enhance, or Shigaraki getting to say, until the start of my next turn, all your checks are getting -1. And I've got masterminding, and I've got convenient timing, and just to continue giving your checks check hacks. So It just, it's a really fun list. It gets the damage between brute strength and full in attack mode, and just the strength of the evil symbol. If Tongue Whip was ever banned, I guess this deck would just be shelved. But that was a really fun time. That's everything I've got. I just really wanted to tell that story about getting so lucky, drawing the trigger, Barrier Shield, and then using the Twisty to trick my opponent into thinking I have a 1 low block. If it was a regional, I'm sure they would say, hey, show me your discard pile, and they would realize that I'm not playing a 1 low block. So that type of thing wouldn't fly. But that's it for me. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great time, and I'll see you later. Don't forget about my Undaunted Raid box giveaway. If you have a Major Spike or Vash deck list, go ahead and jump in.